And I was asked to go first because my song is about summer, and it is about the month of May. And it also mentions birds. It mentions the heron's nest in the branches of the trees, the lark swooping in the skies, the cuckoo, the pigeons squawking, and the birds in the sky. So I think I have a good quota of birds in my first choice. And the song also mentions, it's about bringing the summer with us. It would have been sung on May Eve as part of the ritual of summer, the beginning of the season of summer, and a very important time. And the bringing of the summer would have been the carrying of the garland or a decorated branch from the woods, maybe a birch tree or a rowan tree or the hawthorn tree. So that's what it means, bringing the summer, Thugamar and Samhradh Linn. And it also mentions the May Dolly, the bob of Bealtaine that would have been dressed in flowers and as an effigy of fertility, symbolising fertility of summer. And bringing the branches of the trees, the magic trees, the holly, the hazel, the rowan and the alder. So there's a lot in my song, more than just the birds. And if you feel moved to come in on the refrain, I'd be delighted. Sauru, sauru, bain and Alanna, Thugamar and sauru Linn, sauru Bealtaine grene, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Babogna Bealtaine muidin tauri, so ska krog she's got dan. Kani mashach ban yalla desta, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru, sauru ban and Alanna, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru Bealtaine grene, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Nyadigan Gerry malna halja, gus nyadigan churishgin yegavan chrin. Tan chwaks na henli shenum le pleasure, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru, sauru, bain and Alanna, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru Bealtaine grene, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Fan shoge shenum saluskus na spera, baches kaloges blarner crin. Ta miller na kushogis Cullen beku, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru, sauru, bain and Alanna, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru Bealtaine grene, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Thugamar Linn on chulchrewi, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Cullen is call as thrum is curling, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru, sauru, bain and Alanna, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru Bealtaine grene, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Thugamar Linn is Kéwan is Gine, Thugamar and sauru Linn. O walla go wallas no wallan nation, Thugamar and sauru Linn. Sauru, sauru, bain and Alanna, Thugamar and sauru Linn.
ladies and gentlemen, my song is a song about a girl I met at a flat show. And I've written 2 or 3 songs about girls that I met at flat shows, and I can't say anything about it, only it's about a girl met at a flat show. There's a sweet girl that I'm contemplating, I have known now for many months past. She lives in the heart of the country, far away from the loud city blast, where the song of the thrush and the linnet ring cheerily from every hedgerow, combining all the beauties of nature and engaging sweet Mary McRoe. Oh, the very first time I saw Mary was at the All-Ireland Flackyall. She was singing the folk songs of Ireland in the festival town of Listowel. Her attraction to me was magnetic, which filled me with wild ecstasy. Then she stole the heart right out of my bosom, which Cupid conspired to set free. Her face shone as bright as the sunlight, and hair that hung loose round her neck. From the instant she entered my eyesight, I longed for her locks to caress. Her waistline is slender and pleasing, tied neatly with belt, knot and bow. Proud Anna of Dublin's millennium would just melt before Mary McRoe. Her legs were designed for set dancing, as outlined by the theorem of pi, and her ankles were shaped by the master who created fair Helen of Troy. Her heel foot and instep re-echo the rhythm of hornpipe and reel, and her toes tap the sweet notes of music the Irish heart only can feel. So I'll dress myself up in the evening, and I'll put on my best Sunday clothes, and I'll make my way straight to her homestead, with love in my heart to propose. And if my advance is encouraged and a welcome for me she will show, then I'll ask for the hand of the daughter of Amby and Rosie McRoe. And I'll sing to her praises from heaven, and I'll court her with due constancy, and we'll dance till the dawn of the morning, enriched by her warm company. And when spring brings a new dawn to nature, up the high altar steps we will go, to be joined in the union of marriage, Paddy, Berry and Mary McRoe.
When they mentioned age and opportunity to me, I thought I was about at that age and I was going to get every opportunity I could take to sing a song. So then they mentioned to pick a song that you had birds in it. So I made out a list of about 14 and I picked out the song that had most birds in it that I could think of. So you can count the birds in this one, the Westlin winds that I got from the singing originally of Lambert. And we'll see how it goes anyway. Linn says that it's a song, it's a strange song, well you all know it I'm sure anyway, but it's a song of two halves. The first half mentions all the birds and then a bit of slaughter goes on. because it's August, it's that time of the year. And then the second half, for some reason or other, he starts talking about this girl that he loves. So Robbie Byrne was, I'm not sure what he was doing at the time, but anyway, he had birds in mind, let's say. So Linn was saying it's all about guns and girls. Now Westlin winds and slaughtering guns bring autumn's pleasant weather. The moorcock springs on whirring wings among the blooming heather. The waving grain wide o'er the plain delights the weary farmer. The moon shines bright as I stroll at night to muse upon my charmer. The pheasant loves the fruit-filled vale, the plover loves the mountain, the moorcock haunts the lonely dale, the soaring heron the fountain. Through every grove the cushat roams, the path of man to shun it. The hazel bush overhangs the thrush, and the spreading thorn the linnet. Thus every kind their pleasure find, the savage and the tender. Some social join and leagues combine, some solitary wander. Avant away the cruel sway, tyrannic man's dominion. The huntsman's joy, the murdering cry, the fluttering gory pinion. Now, Paddy dear, evening's clear, thick fly the skimming swallows. The sky is blue, the fields in view are faded green and yellow. So let us stray our gladsome way to view the charms of nature, the rustling corn, the fruited thorn, and every happy creature. We'll gently walk and sweetly talk while the silent moon shines clearly. I'll grasp your waist and fondly press, for I swear I love you dearly. Not vernal showers unto budding flowers, not autumn to the farmer, so dear to me as thou can be. My own, my lovely charmer.
My first song is called The Magpies Nest, and when I was invited to take part in this, Aileen and Mick sent me this wee song, and I just didn't look any further. It kind of put a smile on my face every time I sang it, and it was a new song to me. It's a new song, so I just love it. It's just a lovely wee song. So I give it a go. The singing came, the two versions that I got from them came from two people that I don't know, but their names are Annie Jane Kelly and Alistair Roberts. And there was something about the way Alistair sang the song. He was very relaxed, not how I'm feeling right now, but he was very relaxed and very, very slow, and just had a very light touch about it, the way he sang it. So this is the Magpie's Nest. Oh, if I were a king, I would make you my queen. I would roll you in my arms where the meadows are green. I would roll you in my arms and lay you down to rest beside my Irish fairy in the Magpie's Nest. I've wandered through Tipperary and I wandered all through Clare, from Dublin down to Galway and there to God knows where. But I've never met a beauty with such a nature's blessed as my little Irish fairy in the Magpie's Nest. For the Magpie's Nest is a cottage neat and clean, and it stands beside the Shannon where the meadows are green. But I've never met a princess with beauty such as this, my little Irish fairy in the Magpie's Nest. Da-da-dee-dum, dee-dee-dum, 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 dee-dee-dum.
Even the name of the song that I'm going to sing is a tragedy, the Tacumshane Lake tragedy. I wrote it myself about 1982 when it happened, the week after it happened, because I was at home in bed with pneumonia. So I had plenty of time and I got the local paper and got all the facts. As Mick Quinn from Mullaghmore always said, you don't have to tell people what the song is all about. If the song don't tell its own story, don't sing it. Ah, come all ye fair maids, men, and God-fearing people, a story I'll tell to you. On the 7th day of January in 1982, the frost and cold would sin your soul and pierce you through and through. Now it's of a sad and grief-laden story I'll now unfold for you. The evening was right as it slipped into night to hunt for the duck and teal on Tacumshane Lake, where the goose and the drake do dabble and drink as they feel. The widgeon and swan, they both glide along, unspoiled by intruding men. It's a haven for game, from the wild to the tame, be it brent goose or water hen. In the fiberglass boat, these two families did float to the island out on the lake. Pádraigín Welsh and his son, with their dog and their guns, in an evening sport to partake, with his brother Tom, his sons Vincent and Tom, as oft times they had done before. It was little they knew, their time it was due, they'd never return no more. As the Angelus bell rang out on the hill, the wind started to rage and blow. It blew such a gale, and to tell you my tale, 'twas backed up by a blizzard of snow. This defenceless crew, God, what could they do? Their dinghy so light on the wave, in the wind and snow, it was over they did go, and sank in a watery grave. It was early next morn, long before dawn, the search party made a find. 3 woolen caps that were worn by the chaps adrift on the snowy brine. It took days and nights, long hours with searchlights, to find where their bodies lay. They're gone to their rest in the arms of the blessed, preparing for Judgment Day. It was in the month of January, as the snow lay on the ground. In a churchyard still, 2 graves they did fill, such grief will ne'er be found. The old windmill stands silent and still, its arms crossed upon its breast. The lake now is calm, her victims have gone to their eternal rest.
Thanks, Aileen. Well, when Aileen Mick asked me to take part in this project, she suggested I might sing this song, which I had turned up on a previous project that we were involved in called the Wexford Song Project. And the song is called Announce Now. It's a fairy swing song, and it's really, I suppose, a lullaby or a dream song. And the child or the fairy in the song is being swung to and fro, announce now, and has a dream in which it sees all kinds of funny images, blue cuckoos and wizard ponies and things like that, and then the child wakes up. The song was, I found the words of the song in a book by Wexford musician and historian Liam Gall, and the words where he put the words to an old Irish air called Announce Now. P.J. McCall is better known for the Wexford ballads, the 1798 ballads, Bull of Oak, and Kelly from Cullen and those, but he was actually a Dublin man, but he spent so long on holidays down in Wexford that he heard a lot of folklore and fairy lore down in Wexford, in Rathangan and Duncormick, where Phil and Paddy are from. And so he used a lot of that in his songs. And so this is called Announce Now, a fairy swing song. Once I went for sleeping water, Nonce Null, Nonce Null, I met King of Norway's daughter. Anall. When the fairy's pot boils over, then to each I shall discover what sweet boy she chose for lover. Sing the nonce now. Blue cuckoo came westward winging. Nonce null, nonce null, to the spot where we sat swinging. Sing and nonce null. Bluebird, bluebird, specked and glossy, linger in our basket mossy. Bring thy bosom fair and flossy. Sing and nonce null. Long we swung o'er magic water. Nonce null, nonce null, boy and bird and Norway's daughter. Sing and nonce null. When we'd eaten all our honey, we implored the wizard pony. Take us, sir, o'er fording stony. Sing and nonce null. We went dry while he went dreeping. Nonce null, nonce null. Do I wake and was I sleeping? Sing and nonce null. Where slipped pony through the water? Where lost I King Norway's daughter? Blue cuckoo, I haven't brought her. Sing and nonce null. Sing and nonce null.
Natural habitat of a domesticated fowl. Now, you may wonder what the connection between the opening of Wallace's Super Value supermarket when collar bacon was 89 pence a pound, Linn was 4.39. This was 1983. Jack McCutcheon was writing a song for the ballad writing competition, the H of a call down in Matanga, which is only a few miles across the road from Wellington Bridge, where he lived. And it was kind of before his time, probably because he didn't like wasting the world's resources and the rainforest and all that. So he wrote the song. He found a piece of paper that was exactly the right size. Would be rather handy for me too, possibly. Let's see what happens. I might need help. In the sweet Ballylannon, on the road to Duncannon, with a small bit of farming, I led a quiet life. I ploughed a few acres and I sowed a few taters, and the fowl and the dairy left in charge of the wife. Well, the wife said, "Now, Johnny, you know I'm your honey, and ambitions for money or fame we've no use, but the small bit we'll squander for to amuse the old gander.
if you'd go out and buy me a beautiful goose. It was early one morning, at the break of the dawning, I pumped up the owl tires and I westward set sail. In the hook I soon landed, where me wish it was granted, when I spied a fine goose and she chawed barley meal. Says I to her owner, if you will disown her, a price I will quote that you cannot refuse. With a small bit of bargain, we struck up a bargain, and I started for home with me Templetown goose. Ah, but she was a darling, both handsome and charming, a great one to ramble if e'er she got loose. Away she would wander, but her steps I'll soon hinder, when I give my great gander to me Templetown goose. But me chickens I counted before I was mounted, for to leave her surroundings this bird hadn't planned. Her wings she did flutter, and when I o'ertook her, she was washing her toenails on Dollar Bay Strand. I did some hard slogging, chasing her through Kildare. She led me through Lewistown and Haytown and Rail, like she started skin diving off the rocks of Carnarvon. After 10 hours I caught her and tied her up safe. We approached Ballinairy, and again she got fiery. Once more she escaped and she flew to Dunmain. We traversed Mullenderry to the Uallacháin ferry. 'Twas in passages she was captured again. Ah, she was a darling, both handsome and charming, a great one to ramble if e'er she got loose. Away she would wander, but her steps I'd soon hinder, when I give the great gander to me Templetown goose. Now she had me demented and sorely tormented. She wore out me tires and me socks and me shoes. Exhausted and shaken, the wife I did waken, when past midnight I brought home me Templetown goose. Now this bird, she was speedy, I am grasping and greedy, but in the great gander she soon met her match. When they went into action, soon to my satisfaction, a fine brood of goslings in a few weeks did hatch. There was rare ones and fair ones, queer ones and square ones, like their mother before them, they'd give dogs abuse. But now she is spancelled, her freedom is cancelled, and the speed is gone off of me Templetown goose. Ah, but she was a darling, both handsome and charming, a great one to ramble if e'er she got loose. Away she would wander, but I soon reprimand her, when I give the great gander to me Templetown goose.
This song is called The Blue Cuckoo. I'd never come across those two words together before. And I was mooching through Paul O'Loughlin's book, and I came across the song called a new song on an Irish girl or something like that. And I read through the words and I liked it. And it was something similar in vein to a song that Paddy Tunney sings, and also something like Robbie Byrne's My Love Is Like the Red Red Rose, that sort of song. And I learned the air, took the air out of the book. I'm very slow, I can't sight read, but I can eventually get near enough to it. And so I did that. And then Pádraigín had given me a list that she came across in the archives of a fellow called Byrne who was a painter in Drogheda. Himself and his brother were painters in the middle of the 1800s. He was involved in the Harp Society there as well, and he was a singer. But he wrote out a list of songs, 300 airs and songs that were sung in Drogheda around the 1840s, 1850s, that time. And like the Body Light Horseman and the Bold Doherty and the Wedding Suite Bealtaine and songs like that are still sung. They'll be sung later on tonight in the Carvers as well. So this particular, there was a line that he wrote down as well, and something was and you'll hear it in the song anyway, and something was the dress of gold my Irish girl did wear, or something like that. And that's what he down as the name of the song. And lo and behold, that occurred in this particular song, the Through Cuckoo. And so this is it. Abroad as I was walking down by the riverside, gazing all around me, an Irish girl I spied. So red and rosy were her cheeks, and yellow was her hair, and costly was the dress of gold this Irish girl did wear. Her shoes were Spanish leather, all spangled round with dew. She wrung her hands and tore her hair, crying, "Oh, what can I do? I'm going home, I'm going home. I leave this country. Oh, why do you go roaming and slight your Polly dear?" The last time that I saw my love, she seemed to be in pain. With chilling grief and anguish, my heart was torn in twain. There's many a man feels worse than me, so why should I complain? Oh, love, it is a killing thing. Have you ever felt the pain? And I wish my love was a red, red rose that in the garden grew, and I to be the gardener, to her I would prove true. There's not a month throughout the year my love I would renew. With lilies I would garnish her, sweet William, thyme and rue. And I wish I was a butterfly, I'd fly to my love's breast. I wish I was a linnet, I'd sing my love to rest. I wish I was a blue cuckoo, I'd sing till morning clear. I'd sing and sing for you, my girl, that once I loved so dear.
Okay, my next song is called The Singing Bird, and it's a song that I used to hear at home in my household quite a lot. And there was a Wexford woman, Byrne, that lived with us for years, and she used to sing this song. And so I didn't know the words of it, and I went to the archives recently just to check it out, and discovered that there was lots and lots of versions, or lots of people sang it, and it kind of frightened me a bit at the idea. But then the air wouldn't leave me, and I found myself humming the air quite a lot at home, so I just thought I'd give it a try. So it's called The Singing Bird. I have seen the lark soar high at morn, heard his voice up in the blue. I have heard the blackbird pipe his tune, the thrush and the linnet too. But there's none of them can sing so sweet, my singing bird, as you. My singing bird, as you. If I could lure my singing bird from his own cozy nest, if I could catch my singing bird, I would warm him on my breast. But there's none of them can sing so sweet, my singing bird, as you. My singing bird, as you.
Well, I'm going to sing a song about an identifiable bird, the yellow bittern in Bunanbuy, and it's written by a poet called Uallacháin, who lived between the middle of the 17th century and the middle of the 18th century, and he was very fond of drink, so he identified with the yellow bittern who died of thirst on a frozen lake. And I think the song was translated by a number of poets, including James Heaney, James Stephens, Thomas Kinsella, and some other Thomas, forget his name. Kieran didn't do it, no, and myself. My version is sung by Lambert. And this is the Oriel version, the County Louth version of it. Alanna we shimmerlin the lee, Samhradh shinchen yeshtirin, Anas baby achti waldi, dag the liuer hulchin, is masalum hen as Christmas tree. To vedeli knock of Snar var lat Féin na iskepol. Ta me chionse chin snílarachan o Gerry landen treblodj du. Ma harja grin gan ach gan rin nach nyanen si gin o foskudu. Da Aileen bin wie sheer horch grin is bachelum de hora karenach. Amor benji kele vein hin sever ach glak me de rean wichtinach. Han yed war nienli ta me gegni an lon an heershach non hardlas. Ach de bonan bui a vi lande chri gar kosul am hene nos is na. Viche gashiri a golnadi is jarter gomim a nos shin shal. Anall njord wien nach ligin shies ches go wiensje was den tart. She dier most orum staduden hol no nach menje beoach shall begar. Ach durch mele gor arsi shi breg skor budje de mohil an jakudal. Nach fekin shven a fiban re a in jeg den tar der bol. Så horsen i leven is fluggy war mel or han ein chev bren in je mor marsh.
The streams of Bunclody, you all know it. We reckon it was written about 1840. We don't know who wrote it. Around the mid-60s, the Dubliners were down in Enniscorthy doing a gig in the ballroom down there. And in the evening, before the start, they decided to go into the pub and have a jar. So they played a few tunes for themselves, and there was only one more man in the pub, a fellow with a suit and tie and a lovely pair of shoes on. And when they were finished, the man said, "Could I sing a song?" And they said, "Yeah," expecting to have a great big tenor voice and sing some operatic stuff. But he sang with the most gentle, traditional voice, and he sang the streams of Bunclody. And then Luke Kelly fell in love with it and took it from there. Frank Hart, of course, always said that he'd never listen to anyone with a collar and tie on him singing traditional songs. Over at the moss house where the birds do increase, at the foot of Mount Leinster or some silent place, by the streams of Bunclody where all treasures do meet, and all I will ask is one kiss from you, sweet. The streams of Bunclody, they flow down so free. By the streams of Bunclody, I am longing to be. Drinking strong liquor at the height of my cheer, So here's a health to Bunclody and the lass I love dear. The cuckoo is a pretty bird, she sings as she flies. She brings us good tidings and tells us no lies. She sucks the young bird's eggs to make her voice clear. And the more she cries cuckoo, the summer draws near. If I were a clerk and could write a fine hand, I would write my love a letter so that she might understand. For I am a young fellow that is wounded in love. Once I lived in Bunclody, but now I'm removed. If I were a lark and had wings I could fly, I would fly to yon arbour where my true love she does lie. I would fly to yon arbour where my true love she does lie, and on her fond bosom content I would lie. The reason why we parted, as you may understand, for she has a freehold and I have no land. She's got fine stores of riches, of silver and gold, and everything fitting a house to uphold. So farewell to my father and mother, adieu. My sister and brother, farewell unto you. I am bound for America, my fortune to try. Once I lived in Bunclody, and I got it all wrong.
Well, the next song that I'm going to sing is from the Irish language tradition. And I learned it first of all years ago to teach to children, and learned a quick version of it. And when I learned it originally, it's called Allu Éini. And when I learned it originally, I thought it was to do with the bird Allu Éini in the chorus. But I subsequently found out that Allu Éini, it probably is just a nonsense, Brien, nonsense word or something that you might say in a chorus, like diddly-eye or something like that. And I found that as well. Mary O'Hara, the harpist, has a slow version of it years ago, and but I learned a quick rhythm to it, so I do a mixture of both. And it's suitable actually for Bealtaine because it's the girl in the song. She goes out with her one cow in the morning, and probably it was the 1st of May. She might have been looking for the dew, the potent dew for her complexion, I suppose, which is on the 1st of May, as we all know. And so she meets the jolly tailor, and whatever happens anyway before the song is over, she's decided she's going to marry him. He's making a coat of tweed. Allu Éini, allu eri, Yule sun drog to sun green e kairi. Allu Éini, allu eri, allu Éini, allu eri, Yule sun
Down tan sleva, allu eni, allu eri. Allu eri, for mer om an talur erach, allu eri. Allu eri, a fual coat the more than fretting, allu eri, allu eri. Allu eri, na fallen they on talur erach, allu eri, allu eri. Allu eri, posig me on talur erach, allu eri, allu eri. Allu eri, you the sun drove, the sun green e gairi, allu eri, allu eri.
Now, unlike the Templetown Goose, which Jack McCushion described as pure imagination, have no bearing on any persons or happenings in the district, Jem Case's Gander is pure fact. Written by Jim Smith and Kevin Whitty, tells the story of Anne Case, Jim Case's daughter, described the gander as a pure devil. But a song about real people, real happenings, and a real one-eyed gander. Let's see what happens. Again, Matt is actually a gander's habitat. Jim Case had a gander, the bane of his life. He gave him more trouble than a contrary wife. He made up his mind, his soul searching was great. This bird would be adopted or he'd emigrate. It was a bit low. Now it was Tommy Colfer that bred this fine bird. When he sold him to Jim, sure he gave him his word. But Jim's son Mick wasn't really amused. Sure, what good is a gander when you haven't a goose? Well, they built a high fence round the garden at home, in case that this bird should have notions to roam. But there in his compound he felt rather sad. He had no one to share those desires he had. Now early one morning when feeding time came, Jim noticed the bird was a little bit lame. He knew straight away that some help he should get. He went up to Kehoe's and he rang for the vet. Well, the veterinary surgeon came later that day. He checked out the bird, said his heart was okay. His blood pressure normal, his lungs they were free, and his bowels and his kidneys seems all right to me. But there's one little problem, says the vet with a sigh. He've only one stone and he's blind in one eye. 'Tis hard to perform when you've only one stone, and 'tis worse when a gander can't see where he's going. Now there's one consolation, the vet says to Jim. In London they might do a transplant on him. The medical service in England is great, and they might find a gander his stones to donate. You must think now, says Jim, I've more money or sense. Sure, a poor man like me couldn't meet that expense. He's not stopping here if he's no good at stud. And feck Tommy Colfer, he sold me a dun. With vet's bills and feeding, me pockets are slack. I'll sell him, says he, to me friend in Mag. He can play with the greyhounds, help them to get fit. With the tourists in summer, he might be a hit. Now Aidan MacDonough, he runs a lounge bar, and many's a local drops in for a jar. Says Jim, I've a bird, he's the best in Goffsbridge, and maybe next Christmas he'd fill up your fridge. Well, the bargain was made, it was signed up and sealed, but the price they agreed on was never revealed. I'll feed him, says Aidan, on Williams's sliced ham, with a few pints of Guinness to wash down the bran. Well, the months they went by, but he didn't get fat. He ate like a horse, he was thin as a lad. I fed him, says Aidan, I can't do any more. I'll banish this bird to the sweet river Nore. Himself and Tom Dunn an excursion did plan, the loaded gander in the back of the van. While Aidan went in to get Tommy a fag, Tom had the gander tied up in a bag. Well, off on their journey this couple did steer, with Aidan the pilot and Tom in the rear. But somehow the gander got loose from the sag, and he sickened poor Dunn with a belt in the bag. Well, now that he's free like the Birmingham Six, wherever he's gone, he'll be up to his tricks. There's no eel nor no trout will be safe anymore, with Jim Case's gander set free on the Nore. But if ever again he should come back this way, we'll know pretty soon if he's straight or he's gay. For the first place you'll find him, now that he's loose, is down in Dollar Bay with the Templetown Goose. Ah, but she was a darling, but handsome and charming, a great one to ramble if e'er she got loose. Away she would wander, but I soon reprimand her when I give me great gander to the Templetown Goose. Good evening, friends.
And now the last song Paddy Byrne is going to sing us out. We might even learn a little chorus here from Paddy.
All right. What's the start of this now? How sweet the pleasures of the spring when we hear the cuckoo sing. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. I learned that in Duncormac National School sometime in the 40s, and I've been inquiring around since this project started. Was there any more of that song, or whatever it was probably a little jingle maybe, or kind of a nursery rhyme or something that you might learn going to school, but I couldn't find any more of it. So I thought well, maybe I'll write a little about it. And, you know, what I'm going to sing is neither poetry nor prose, nor it's not a song and it's not a ballad. It's what you might call a gallimaufry, a confused jumble. The piper that played before Moses was wrong when he first heard the cuckoo's song. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. If I was a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing, but I'd shite in my nest before the cuckoo moves in. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. 1869 being the date of the year, all the Waterloo cuckoos got sick drinking beer. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. As I went out walking one morning in May, I heard people say that the cuckoo was away for the day. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She'd a whole heap of children and kept a cuckoo. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. The night before poor old Larry was stretched, he ate a whole cuckoo, got sick and then retched. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. In a tree by a willow, a little tomtit sang willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. And he said to his dicky bird, why do you sit singing willow, tit, willow, tit, willow? Was it weakness of intellect, birdie, he mused, or because of the birdsong event he's confused? But he said 'twas his parents which he didn't choose, for his father and mother were cuckoos. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing. The cuckoo's a pretty bird, she sings as she flies. She brings us good tidings by telling us more lies. And if she only knew what I was singing to you, she would never again want to be a cuckoo. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Oh doctor, oh dear Dr. John, your bird liver oil is so pure and so strong. But I'm afraid of me life, I'll get washed down the loo if I don't get something to cure my cuckoo. Cuckoo, 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 hear the cuckoo sing.